Hi Math 171 students, this is Mrs. B, and I'm just here to wrap up these last two problems from 1.6. If you will recall, we left off 1.6, we were solving inequalities. So here we have two given inequalities, and we're going to solve both of them. And then at the end, our answer will be given such that our given answer will satisfy both of these inequalities. So we have this first inequality, and step one, if you will recall, is to distribute to get rid of those parentheses. So just watch your signs and distribute that negative. Next, we need to combine like terms. So we have negative 3 minus 3x is less than 0. And then isolate the variable by first using the addition principle of inequalities. So they're subtracting 3. We're going to add 3 to both sides. And then lastly, isolate the variable by using the multiplication principle of inequality. So they're multiplying by negative 3. We're going to divide by negative 3. Now notice when we divide our inequality on both sides by a negative number, we have to remember to do what? Flip that inequality sign. So there's one solution. So then we have the next inequality is much simpler. All we have to do is isolate x by using the addition principle of inequality. They're adding 3, so we're going to subtract 3. And we're done. Okay, so now let's graph our inequalities to see what our solution will look like. We have 0, negative 1, and then down further we have negative 8. It says x is greater than negative 1. Okay, so we're going to use a parenthesis because it's strictly greater than. It's not greater than or equal to, so we're going to use a parenthesis. And we're going to shade everything larger than negative 1. The second solution says that x has to be less than negative 8, less than or equal to negative 8. The or equal to tells us to use a bracket to include that negative 8. And we'll shade everything less than negative 8. So the or statement tells us that any of these solutions in this first interval or the solutions in the second interval will be good. So either of these can work. So when we write our answer in interval notation, we will say that our interval will start with negative infinity, which always gets a parenthesis, and it goes to negative 8 with a bracket. And then we will say, or, using U for union, we could use negative 1 to positive infinity with parentheses. Okay, and then lastly, we have this word puzzle. It says Susie will offer her rates of service for painting a house using one of the two following plans. Susie can offer you plan A, which is $200 plus $12 an hour, or she can offer you plan B, which is $20 per an hour. Suppose the job takes X hours. For what values of X is plan A better for Susie? So what values of X is plan A better for Susie? Susie, the contractor. So Susie is the painter. She's getting paid. So she wants her plan to make her as much money as possible, right? So she wants plan A to be greater than plan B because that will make Susie more money. So plan A is $200 plus $12 an hour, and it says to use X hours. And we want that plan A to be greater than plan B, which is $20 an hour. So just solve for X. Let's get your variable on one side of the equation. Recall that I prefer that your variable stays on the left-hand side. So I'm going to bring 20x over to the left-hand side. So we have 200 minus 8x is greater than 20x minus 20x is going to be 0. Now bring the constant to the right-hand side, and we have negative 8x is greater than negative 200. To solve for x, you're going to divide both sides by this negative 8, which will cause you to do what? Flip your sign. So what is that going to be? 224. And so for a job that will take less than 24 hours, or I'm sorry, 25 hours. For a job that will take less than 25 hours, the plan A would be better for Susie. So if it's less than 24 hours, Susie will make more money. So let's write that. Remember, this is a word problem. So for a word problem, you have to interpret your answer. On a test, this x is less than 25 will not suffice. It will not give you full credit. So our final answer should be something like this. You can write it in your own words. But Susie will make more money on plan A or with plan A if the job is less than 25 hours. So since this is a word problem, we want to give our answer as a word. As a sentence. So Susie will make more money on plan A if the job is less than 25 hours. That's it. Email me if you have any questions. Thanks, you guys.